everyone. Good morning. It is May 7th, and we are here with Krystal. And today we have a great conversation going on. I am here in person with her at her new facility in Newington. And so we have a great conversation. I'm super excited about it. So why don't we just kind of get into it, right? We're live on Facebook and on Instagram, I believe. So I just want to check to make sure everything is good and all set up. Okay, perfect.
All right.
All right.
So, hi, everybody. My name is Krystal via Bariffe. I am a certified Reiki master teacher. I am I'm an herbalist, an astrology consultant, and I also do like yoga therapy things. So, not your typical yoga in a studio, but more like yoga specifically to your body and your needs. Um, I am completing my certification for becoming a doula birth worker, so I'm almost done with that.
Nice.
And like Marianne just said, I just opened a new space here in Newington. We are at 18 Cedar Street, right on the Cedar and Main line in Newington. It's a very convenient location. And we also have our original location in Agawam, just maybe a mile or so down the road from Six Flags. So that's me.
Nice. So how has this journey been for you? Like you do a lot of different things. So how did you end up stumbling upon or kind of choosing some of the work that you're doing?
So I personally, and like many people, stumbled upon different healing modalities because I had to heal myself. I am a mother of six, five of my own biological children, and I realized like after my second birth, things weren't right within my body. I experienced postpartum migraines, which turned out to be a spinal fluid leak, and then cascaded into finding out years down the line that I had a small inoperable tumor in my brain. And so just going through the motions of that, feeling unheard, feeling like, people weren't really trying to treat me as me, the person. I had to find my own way. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I can't imagine like how scary that was, and even and having found all of that and experiencing and having to go through that. I hope you had to like a good support system at that time.
Definitely.
Great.
I have my husband, my family, and all my friends here and far that were here for me the whole time.
Great. And now you're here and you're sharing your story with
Yes.
us. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, like stumbling upon all the other aspects of healing work that you do. And a lot of times the healers are the ones trying to heal themselves.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, I want to share this, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And share this gift because we realize how important it tends to be.
Yeah.
So give us a little like journey or timeline as to what exactly you started with, because you're also a Reiki master teacher as well. So tell us a little bit about what you started off with and how it led to one to the other.
Okay. So the Reiki master teacher part came later in my healing journey, because I knew energy work was a thing. I had been really interested in crystals and crystal therapy. And the other Krystal that I also run the space with, she is the crystal consultant. So I had known that that type of energy existed, just the vibrational energy that we feel off of people, So I've known all along that existed, but I didn't have a name or a specific like modality to say, okay, I can channel this energy to like in different symbols to help me or to help other people.
Right.
So that's where so before Reiki came, it was a lot of like sound healing, surrounding myself with people of higher vibrations that I could like latch onto. Even when I used to like hang out with friends and things like that, I would just say, you know, I don't need to drink. I don't need to smoke. I vibe off life. Like I'm high off life. And that was a real thing for me. I just, all the vibrations from people that I loved and people that, you know, were vibrating higher on a higher frequency than I was, I just elevated. And so it made me feel good. It made my body feel good. Um, I started really with herbalism because it's something that just growing up in a Jamaican family, we just do, you know. So we know all the different herbs that are going to heal different things. And even after I had my children, I have this one aunt, and she would just tell me like all the different Jamaican remedies that were out there, just to keep me on my toes. Like, all right, well, you know, I know you did this for the baby, but you should probably do this. Like, this is what we used to do back in the day. This is what your great grandmother did. Yada yada yada. So she was actually instrumental in me diving deeper into becoming an herbalist and actually like taking classes and going to school and actually doing a full program for it. Right. So I'm grateful to her for that, and I'm grateful to my family for just passing down that ancestral knowledge so that I can also pass it down to my children.
Yeah, and that's how ancient in ancient history. That's how they did remedy a lot of the wounds, and a lot of the healings came from nature.
Yep,
and that's how that was their medicine.
Yes.
So it's interesting now how it's more pharmaceutical, but it's like more people are trying to get back into the natural remedies that we used to always do.
Yeah, because a lot of people say, like my mom says, you didn't get a headache because your body said it needed Tylenol. You got a headache because there's something wrong in your body,
right?
And you need to fix it. And so that's really what herbal medicine for me is. It's like a holistic approach to fixing something that may be out of alignment within you. So, and then that's kind of where the energy part came in when my business, I had actually inherited from its original owner. And when I did take on this business back 2001 or 2021 or 2022, that's when I was introduced to the actual modality of Reiki. And as soon as I like started reading about it, hearing about it, and then speaking to her about it, it really just solidified to me like, yes, there's energy. This is what I can do with the energy. And so now I want to learn how to manipulate it, how to use it, and how to like give it to other people so that they feel good too. Because I know I feel good when I'm getting Reiki, and I feel good when I'm giving it. So I want other people to experience that too.
Great, nice. Yeah. So how did you get into like the astrology portion of things?
So the astrology part is actually something that I've just always been interested in. Just even as a little kid, I have always been so connected to the stars and the planets and the solar system. That was like, you know, when we were in school and we're learning about the planets and stuff, that was probably like my favorite lesson in any school year. And just growing up, I really like felt connected to every movement of every single planet, but I couldn't really like verbalize why or what it was. And then during my healing journey, I started looking more into like my birth chart. And I want to say back in like 2018, maybe, I had my third baby by then. And I was like trying to understand. So my third baby is a Scorpio, just like I'm a Scorpio. And I was trying to understand like what the relationships are between me and my children based on their signs, their birth sign. And then that's when I stumbled upon like, well, you're more than just your sun sign. Your sun sign is just where the sun was, you know, what constellation it was in the day you were born. But all the planets were in a constellation on the day you were born. And it just blew my mind when I really sat down and I thought about it. I was like, yes, all the planets were in a constellation on the day I was born. So where were they?
Right.
So then I started like looking into stuff and saying, okay, well, this is my sun sign, this is my moon sign. Okay, this is the type of parent that I'm going to be. This is my child's moon sign, and this is how they're going to perceive me as a parent. So on and so forth. This is how I can, well, based on like my children's rising signs, this is what I can kind of like push them into developing into, the kind of person that they can develop into. Because the other thing is that the universe rewards you when you are showing up as your rising sign. And your rising sign is like the time, it's based on the time of your birth, and the day and location. So the universe rewards you when you're showing up like that. So I know for my rising sign, when I'm showing up as like a bold leader, just, stepping out in the front lines and like just being bold and courageous, the universe usually rewards me when I'm doing that. Right. It put me in the path of you, so it really does reward me when I'm acting in that way. So, so yeah, after I had her, I started really like researching, and then also researching what's called medical astrology, where now we're taking the planets and the alignments and how it's like affecting your body. And different ailments that may come up in your life at certain times, or based on how the planets are moving and how they are connected to you as a person. Right. So I don't know if you know the saying, as above, so below. Yeah. So for me, that meant like the alignment of the planets when I was born is within me. And so every year, every day, every moment when the planets are moving, they're affecting this alignment that's within me. And so that's how I look at medical astrology, and that's how I've been actually using it like in my practice and even just in my house with my kids and my family and stuff.
Yeah. So it's interesting that that's one concept, and then I guess one of the things, I guess, what I usually talk to my clients about is allowing your energy to pull you where it's going to pull you, instead of resisting it, because a lot of times when we're kind of resisting that energy pull, it's then stuff happens and it feels like chaos. Yeah. And it's like, allow your energy is trying to pull you and trying to tell you something, but you're trying to say no, whether it's based on fear or because we want to be in control of things all the time. And if I have control of it, I feel much better. Yeah. But you don't realize the chaos that it actually might cause, because that is not where you're intended to go. That energy might be pulling you somewhere else. Yep. So it almost reminds me of that concept of the constellations, of like there's like this energy force, or there's an alignment that's happening here, and the more you kind of resist it, it might bring about other things.
Yep, that's exactly like very, very much in line. And I know a lot. So that brings up like a thought of free will. Are we born with free will, or are we predetermined or predestined to do certain things in life, or do we have this free will? And for me, not to answer the question and go deep on that tangent, but for me, it's like yes, these planetary alignments are within us, and they show us a path of what works better for us. Life experiences, people experiences, all of that, number one, are also ingrained in your natal chart. You can tell the kind of people you may encounter in your natal chart. Like for instance, if the sun is if your sun sign or your parent's sun sign are like afflicted, or your moon sign, you may have struggles with your father, your mother. You may have like struggles with having children, things like that. That will show up in your birth chart. But the way that we respond to all of the outside triggers is our own. It's our own response. So, while yes, things are predetermined, our response is our response.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, we talk about May and it being Mental Health Awareness Month. And again, the goal of having these conversations were to talk to people that were doing things outside of talk therapy, even if talk therapy was inclusive of their practice, but it's to let the audience know that there are other things that you might feel that's more beneficial for you, or for something that you feel like it's more in alignment to what you're looking for, or other answers that you might have, because people tend to be inquisitive about other things, you know, and people tend to want something to believe in or to follow in, right? So you just never know where your path in life is going to lead you, and there's other providers and professionals that are doing this work. So we were talking about the natal chart, so I guess we can kind of dive into that, because I know we were going to show the audience a little bit of something here that I'm excited for.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to have you do, and just for everyone that's watching, your natal chart, again, is the snapshot of the sky, the day and the time, and the location of your birth. So I'm going to actually have you put your information in, so we don't have to shout it out to the world. But while she's doing that, so this is the snapshot of the sky at the time of your birth. And like I said, it really does drive, you know, who you are, who you can be, your path, the interactions that you're going to have with people. I really believe that it does drive that. A lot of people know their sun sign, because that's where the sun was. That's a constellation the sun was in the day of your birth. The moon sign is just as easy to find. Simple Google search, you know, if you're born on like January 1st, 1947 or something, you can just Google what constellation was the moon in on this day. So it's really easy to find out at least those two signs. And then you have...
Did I need the minutes on there?
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's 7 exactly or like 7:30.
We can do 7.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, I don't remember.
All right, and let me just there we go. Perfect. So there are free sites out there. Astro.com is one that I like to use a lot. You can make a free profile, and you can create your birth chart on that. Let's pull yours up. All right. So, your Virgo sun and a Sagittarius moon. I like that. And then your rising sign is Aries, first degree is Aries, right?
Okay.
So
I don't know what any of that means, but she'll tell us.
Yep. So what that means to me is Virgo sun. When people are like asking you questions about yourself, like when you first meet people and they're asking you to speak about yourself, what are your qualities that you feel like, you know, you say the most to people?
That's my first initial reaction. So I guess some of the qualities that I say, I guess sometimes I could be very analytical. I'm a thinker, but I also can feel. I'm kind, but I'm also a hothead.
Okay. So that's pretty much what your chart says to me. That's what your chart says. So as a Virgo, most people with Virgo suns consider themselves to be really analytical, big thinkers. That's what and that's pretty much like one of the aspects of a Virgo is like a very analytical, like calculated thinker. And then your moon being in Sagittarius just tells me that you feel things, and you feel big, you know, like not feel big in like the physical sense, but like you feel big things, big emotions, expansive emotions. And that is very much a Sagittarius aspect, because Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter. And, you know, Jupiter is that big bouncy planet in the sky. So then the hothead part, that 1000% is very much an Aries quality. It's it's like Aries are fiery. They're the first sign in the zodiac. They're the initiation, the beginning, the fire. They're a fire sign. And so they're just like boom, 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 like
Mm.
action, fire. That's, and so to me, that would, when I said that the universe rewards you when you show up as your rising sign,
Mm-hmm.
to me that would say that when you show up as initiator, someone that takes action,
Mhm.
someone that like is a force to be reckoned with, you are rewarded. Do you feel like that's accurate for you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
Okay.
I do.
So, sorry, it just got left out.
Because it's interesting because I could be a procrastinator, but when I
Mhm.
want something done, I'm like, nope, gotta do it now.
Yep.
Gotta do it.
Yep. And that's what that says to me. As far as like, and I want to ask you before I like, just start throwing things out there, but just so that you can see and other people can see firsthand like how the planets really do kind of make you. As far as how you communicate with other people, how do you think that you can express your thought to other people?
I think it depends on the person that I'm speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's somebody that I don't know, I tend to be very hesitant.
Okay.
And I can be very shy. But when I feel like I connect in some type of way, then I can have more of a conversation and it tends to flow a little bit better. So I feel like I can communicate well.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to feelings, again, they might differ because I tend to I'm a listener.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I have something to say, I have something to say and I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I can easily shut down though
Okay.
if I feel like someone is not listening and giving me that same set of listening skills that I just gave them.
Okay.
And then I have to say, I'll either just stop or I might say you're not listening to me.
Right. Okay. So, and as you were talking, I was just looking more at the aspects. So like not only does your natal chart show where everything was in the sky, but I'm just going to show you all the lines here. These are the different aspects. So when we're talking about communication, we're talking about this guy right here. That's Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication, and which, as people know, once Mercury goes into retrograde, things start going a little crazy. That's how you get rat beefs. But just things start going a little haywire. So your Mercury, is squared to this guy right here, which is Neptune, right? So what that says to me is kind of in alignment with what you're saying is that, and your Mercury is next to your sun. So the way that you speak and communicate with others is very connected to you as a person. And the fact that like, because both are in Virgo, the fact that you can speak very concisely and you give the respect and, that's how you show up to people in your conversations. When, just like you said, when others are not like giving, it's a disaster. It's a catastrophe for you. So, I definitely, that definitely tracks in your natal chart, and it's it's so funny. So, the last one I will do is Venus, the planet of love and like your looks and things like that, right? So off the bat, I'm gonna first let you tell me how you think that you are, as far as your relationships and how you show up in relationships, and also keep in mind that your Venus sign can also like determine the way that you look. And then you just tell me what you think.
Okay, what I think versus my husband. What my husband I think makes two different things. So, what's interesting is that when I love somebody, I love you. Period. That's not changing, unless something happens to change it, right? But to me, that is also different than affection. And I can be affectionate, and then I can not be affectionate. I have like two sides of that. My husband would probably say he wants more affection. But because we weren't nurtured in that way when we were younger, it's kind of hard to always give it, so that I think that plays into it, even though that I want to be loved, I want to be nurtured, I want somebody to cuddle me, I'm that person, like I want the love, and I want to, when I'm showing the love, I don't know if I'm much I like doing things. Let's go do something together.
Okay.
That is my thing. Okay. I like doing things together. I don't want, but I'm not the let's sit on the couch all day either person. I need to do something. I feel more connected when I go out.
Right. Okay. So your Venus sign is in the constellation Leo, and I don't know if you remember from like earlier in the conversation, I was telling you about showing up bold, courageous, as a leader. So my rising sign is in Leo, and it sounds like when you love, you show up. Like you're a leader, you will, regardless of how you feel on the surface layer, you will show up. You will do all the things. You will show the love. You will take the initiative to make sure that your partner is feeling loved as much as you possibly can, but knowing that there are still some things from the past that will that affect it. You're still showing up, you're still putting that foot forward, and that's like very Leo to me, is that you're putting that bold, courageous foot forward. You're being the leader. You're showing this boldness in your relationship, and that's that's what your Venus sign says to me. So this is really good. I'm gonna actually, if you don't mind, do like a full makeup of your chart and send it to you a little bit later. Because so when I'm doing natal charts, it really does require me to like sit down, look at the chart, really meditate and think on it. Usually in an appointment, I'll do like 15 minutes of Reiki first, just to see what I can gather from intuition, and then pull the natal chart and then kind of talk through like preliminary things like we just did. But again, there's so many other things that are involved. Like with all the lines that you saw, there's things that like certain planets next to each other are beneficial. Certain planets next to each other are not beneficial. Certain planets may stifle out, other planets when they're next to each other. So it really does require like a deeper look. But I will say, like, as far as using astrology and mental health, I know that when I'm dealing with a person that, like, when I have a client that comes in that may have like a moon, like their moon sign is in Aquarius, let's say, I know that they are more challenged with expressing their emotions and feeling their emotions. They're more disconnected with their emotional self and their emotional body, and it helps me to understand like how to move forward with them, as far as like, okay, you're disconnected with your emotional body, with your emotional self. You need to feel yourself. You need to sit in your body. And I will always 1000% recommend talk therapy to anyone. 1000%, whether you have a problem or not. Talk therapy is so good. So I will always tell a person, like, definitely find a therapist that you're aligned with. You may have to go through a couple, but find someone that you're aligned with. But also, here's some things that you can work through during your sessions. Like, here's some things that may not initially come up with your therapist, but I can see just based on your moon sign, or your natal chart. I can see these things, and I can see these issues that may come up for you. So that's pretty much how I use astrology in my life.
I love it. I love how that can be very much so integrated in that aspect, because again, like someone who actually might be hesitant in going to talk therapy, because as we know, there's a lot of people that are hesitant in taking that first step. But this can maybe help someone understand themselves a little bit better just by doing, a natal chart like that. and that might help them become a little bit more comfortable in saying, okay, this all makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe I do have a reason to kind of take that next step, and I know what I can start working on when it comes to the actual therapeutic process.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why knowing concepts like this is so important, because again, like because of the stigma on mental health and therapy, people have a hard time taking that step.
Yeah.
And when they do, and if they don't have the right therapist, sometimes people just never go back because they're like, oh no, tried it. And it's just like, no, you just got to try out your therapist. Like at the end of the day, sometimes it's just, there may not be that connection.
Yep.
And that's okay. Move along to the next one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like having another modality to kind of work with, knowing that you can have an understanding of yourself is important too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So is there, so along with that, I know that sometimes depending on maybe what they might be experiencing, whether it's ailments or something like that, then that's when you might add their herbalist part to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
I love that. I love the integration of all your work.
Yeah. For me, I just like to be a person where, like if you're coming for healing, you're staying for healing. Like, whether I can do it or I can refer you out to someone to do it, at least you can come to me and ask, like, hey, do you know somebody that does this? Do you know a therapist? Do you know somebody that teaches Reiki here or things like that? So I like to try to be a one-stop shop or a resource for people, because I know how hard it is for a lot of people to really be that vulnerable and say, okay, you know what, I need some help.
Right.
So,
Nice. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Did you want to show people your space?
Oh, yes. So, in our Newington space, we actually share a private gym, use of a private gym here. So I did want to show that to others so that, if you are choosing to come with us and get some healing done, some healing work, that you have this room here that is still under works.
She just got here.
We did. Just got here. So still putting things together, still figuring out. But also the use of the private gym too, if you want to.
Yeah. So I'm trying to look to see if I can flip that. I might just have to around. We'll take a walk. We'll follow you.
All right. So just outside of our room is the bathroom here. And then this is the private gym space.
It's pretty big too.
Yes. A couple machines here if necessary. I'll just flip one away. There we go. Couple machines if necessary, but definitely big open space. We plan to do Reiki classes here, certification classes, meditation. Definitely, we're looking to actually start doing new and full moon meditations every other weekend, every other Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, depending on everyone's schedule. So we will be doing that in these spaces, and just we will also be having a mixer so that we can introduce ourselves and also the other people in this building with to everyone in the community, our shared community. So if you just watch out for that announcement coming soon, I want to say sometime in June, we should be doing this mixer.
Nice. Right. And let people know how they can reach you.
So you can actually visit our website. It's Saged Soul, SAGED soul.com altogether. And there's a contact us page. There's a meet our sages page where you will see all the healers that we have in both locations. And then right at the top of the website page, you can either click on the Agawam location or the Newington one, and it'll bring you to all the services that we offer in both. All right.
Nice. And is there anything else that you want to leave the audience with?
Just that, again, astrology, energy medicine, all of that. while it may seem taboo to some at first, while it is kind of a new trendy thing going on, there are a lot of people that actually take the time to study, to really understand and grow in their practice. And as far as using it for like mental health resources, I think, I think it's worth a try. At the very least, you all just saw how we can look at a natal chart and just kind of figure out personality things. We can also do that as far as like physical ailments and things like that. So I think it's worth a try. Just, reach out if you have any questions.
Perfect. All right. So this concludes our segment. Again, my name is Mary Ann Francis, LMFT, and I'm the owner of Transforming Hearts PLLC. And thank you for tuning in person live with us today. And I will see you all this Thursday. Have a nice day.